Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Denver, Colorado, and welcome back to All Up in Your Business. On this episode of All Up in Your Business, we're going to talk a new development in the exciting world of copyrights and how it might be able to help you in protecting your blogs and other online content. But first, before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Click that little bell button so you get notifications anytime I post a new video. And be sure to check the description for links to additional information and other resources and all kinds of fun stuff too. So a few months ago, actually quite recently, the Copyright Office here in the United States introduced a new option for registration called Group Registration of Short Online Literary Works. Also known as GRTX. That's how they're referring to it, GRTX. This GRTX option will allow you to register short online literary works such as blogs, social media posts, online articles, things like that, all on one application. Specifically, you can register at least 2, but up to 50 short online literary works in one application and with one application fee, which is a pretty big deal. And even though they're all on one application, each work will still be registered as a separate work. So they won't all be one big work together. Each one will still get its own separate copyright registration. This is great for a number of reasons. First off, definitely the cost. It's gonna save a lot of money. So the GRTX application fee is $65. And again, you can register up to 50 separate works on one application. Let's compare that to if we're doing them on each separate application. Each one's its own application and has its own application fee. If it's $65 per and we're doing 50 of them, that's over $3,000 that we'd be paying in just the application fees, versus now with this GRTX application, it's just one fee of $65 regardless of how many works are included in the application. It's also just going to make the whole process a lot easier. Rather than dealing with 50 separate applications, it's all going to be in one, so it's going to make the process a bit smoother and easier overall. Now, these registrations, they're going to cover the copyrightable text in the work. So if we're talking about blogs, it's going to cover and protect the copyrightable text in the blog, not any images or any other elements of the blog, but just the copyrightable text. And then you'll have separate damages, separate legal rights for each work if it's infringed. So rather than needing copyright infringement on the entire catalog of blogs, you can still have a separate action for copyright infringement for each individual work. So, like I said, this only applies to short online literary works. So what does short online literary works mean? Short means it has at least 50 words and up to 17,500 words. So if it falls between that, then it's going to be considered a short online literary work. At least 50 words, so which is really quite small. So it doesn't have to be full-blown articles, full-blown blogs. This can apply to articles on social media posts, as long as it's at least 50 words and up to 17,500 words. And then online literary work means that it was first published as part of a website or online platform. So this can include online newspapers, your own blogs, social media websites, social media platforms, and things of that nature. So a few examples of what would probably fall under this short online literary works category would be like poems, if you publish them on your blog or on some other online publication. Poems, short stories, articles, essays, columns, blog posts, social media posts. Again, as long as it's first published online and falls within that 50 to 17,500 characters, or words rather, then it'll most likely be included in what you can register under this GRTX application. A few other important things to remember with this and to keep in mind. Again, I said this initially, but the claim, your registration, your copyright is only going to apply to the copyrightable text in the publication. So if your blog or your article has images in it, those won't be covered under this copyright registration. It will apply just to the text of the article. All of the works must be published online. So you can't do 25 blogs that were online and then 25 that were published elsewhere. All of the works must be published online. All of those that are published must be published within 3 months, within 3 consecutive months of each other. So let's say you've been blogging. Let's say you're a blogger. You have a blog that spans posts from a whole year. You can only register the ones that are within 3 consecutive months on one application. So posts from January through March can be one application, April through July, another one, and so on and so forth. But the point is, all of the works that are registered or are on this application must have been posted and published online within 3 consecutive months. And then the text must be written by the same author or joint authors. So you can't register multiple works by multiple different authors. If there are different authors, they have to all be the same on all the articles. There are a few other requirements that go into this, but it's kind of outside the scope of this video. But those are the most important things to keep in mind with these GRTX applications. So a few types of works that won't be included in this would be like emails. Your emails, you won't be able to register under these GRTX applications. Podcasts, again, because they're not literary. It needs to be a short literary work. Podcasts, computer programs, compilations, and collective works, again, aren't going to be included in this. A collective work, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like a assembly of the works of different authors combined into one. So those types of things, again, because with the GRTX, each work has to have the same author or authors. So if each one has different authors, then it won't apply under the GRTX application. So if you want to take advantage of this, it's a relatively easy process in a lot of situations. You would just complete the application for the short online literary works on the copyright.gov website. That's where copyrights are registered with the U.S. Copyright Office. It's copyright.gov. So you'd complete that application, pay the filing fee, and then you have to upload a copy of each work, along with a fillable form that specifies the names, the titles, the publication dates, gives specifics for each individual work. So they're still going to ask details about each individual work, and each one does need to be uploaded along with the application, but again, it's all still going to be on one application. So why do we want to do this? Why does this matter? Why would we care? Under copyright law in the US, your work is protected under copyright law as soon as it is created and fixed in a tangible form. So with your blog, as soon as you create the blog and you post the article, there is some copyright protection that applies. And you don't have to register a copyright in order to receive that protection. It's just automatically there by default, and registration isn't necessary. But it can still be very beneficial to register the copyrights, even if it's not required for copyright protection. Namely, it creates a public record of your copyright and the facts that go along with your copyright, such as the dates associated with it, publication dates, all of those things. You've probably heard about something like the poor man's copyright, where you mail a copy of the work to yourself, so you have a date stamp of like when it was created. A lot of people think that this is a good workaround for copyright registration. It's not. It does nothing. It's not a substitute for actual copyright registration and doesn't give you any actual like legal benefit or anything. So again, this is a way to actually do that and have verifiable public record of the facts around your copyrighted work. You also have to register the copyright if you want to sue somebody for infringement. So even though you don't need to register it to have those rights, you do need to register it if you want to enforce those rights. And when you do, that registration makes you eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees in an infringement claim, which you wouldn't necessarily otherwise get without registration. And finally, if you register the copyright within 5 years of publication, so within 5 years from when the work is published, if you register that copyright, then that gives you really strong evidence of the facts of your copyright registration. And it gives you like a rebuttable presumption that you own the copyright and then the copyright is valid. So again, even though registration isn't necessary, it's often a really good idea and carries along a lot of benefits. So who would this be right for? Who's a good person or business to take advantage of this GRTX application for copyright registration? I don't think that all of us, entrepreneurs who may have a blog or may publish things on social media, I don't know that we all need to rush out and start doing this right away. I think primarily this is going to be super beneficial for people who this is their profession, this is their career. So professional bloggers, if that's what you do, if your business is putting out blog articles, then this is probably going to be something that should be important to you because that is your work. That's everything, and you should want to protect it. Professional writers, something where this is what you're doing, this is your livelihood. But of course, as with everything, it's always a good idea to talk to an attorney and figure out if this is something that you should be concerned about, if registering your copyrights should be a priority for you, and if this GRTX application will be an option. That's all for this episode, folks. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. And again, don't forget to check the description for additional information and resources, and my contact info is there too if you need help figuring out if you should worry about registering copyrights for your short online literary works. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.